Welcome back. What you see here in this next little mini project is adapting this drive-by-wire pedal assembly that came out of the 2003 Tahoe donor vehicle to fit into the Chevelle firewall. As you can see, the existing pedal has a pretty substantial curve in it, and the curve will just not fit into the space that the Chevelle provides between the brake pedal and the transmission hump. So what I need to do is I can keep the pedal length the same, I believe, but what I need to do is get rid of that curve so that the pedal is more in line with the assembly and the hinge point on it. So kind of thinking this through, and frankly I've done a version of this before, this is the method I've kind of figured out that will work. What I did was create a bit of a template here that took away the three-dimension part of this, and get that supported correctly. And what I did was, this gives me a reference point so I could kind of sketch out what I needed to do. And so when I get up on top of that, obviously with the video it's a little tough to line it up, but what I did was, there we go, was sketch that out so that I had a profile of it that disregarded the current bend in it, and then kind of planned out what I'm going to cut out, transferred that down to the cardboard. And so after I cut the pedal pieces out, then I can lay that in flat, cut new steel, and weld it onto the pedal in such a way that it takes away that bend and then lays in line with it, which will then give me plenty of room to put it into the Chevelle firewall. So stay tuned and we'll show you more as we go. Okay, so after some trial and error, lobbing off the original length of the pedal, going back and forth from the car, tech screwing the axle part of it up into the firewall, and playing with locations, this is what I ended up with. It is really close to the original geometry. It is slightly less. If we pivot this out, you'll see it's a couple inches, inch and a half, shorter of an arc from the pivot point, which is this up here, to the inch and a half or so shorter than the original travel distance at the pedal. It's still really close. The last car I did, I made it quite a bit shorter, and the accelerator pedal is a little touchy on that. So I'm probably going to go back and play with that one a little bit, because I know that the longer travel here is something the car likes. So that's why I wanted to keep this as long as I could. If I had kept it way out here and just changed the three-dimensional of it, if you remember, this is pretty straight now, whereas before it was very much offset. And so getting it straight was the first to do. And then where that pedal ended up, had I stayed out here, would have been way beyond the brake pedal. Looking at the other Chevelle as well as other cars, that's just generally not the case. Usually the accelerator pedal is slightly behind the brake pedal, which is about here now. Excuse me, it's about here now. So I'm pretty happy with the ergonomics inside the car, and that's the process I went through. So a lot of different ways to get there. This was what I did, and obviously still going to clean this up and paint it a little bit, but I wanted to leave the original to the pedal cluster pedal on there like that. It's got a little spring thing in it so that the angle of it is springs back, and yeah, some people go ahead and weld on the original pedal pad. They came out of the car. I went this way and did it with the other car like that. So there we go. Next version will be painted and showing you into where it's installed in the firewall. Thanks. And here's the finished product. So the pedal is mounted to the firewall, and the pedal has plenty of room between the tunnel after carpet and pad, and same with the floor, and everything ergonomically seems to make sense. So there it is. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.